Hey guys, it's Nick. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about Bitcoin since it is a extremely interesting time in Bitcoin history, extremely exciting time. We had the very first Senate hearings on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies that took place yesterday and today, which I thought were largely positive. It was all about terrorism and money laundering and child pornography, and they even rolled out the guy from the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and didn't really go into a lot of the positives. But I did feel that the member of the Bitcoin Foundation, the CEO of BitPay, I thought that they were very good in terms of what they did there. I would not have that kind of patience with old fuddy-duddy politicians trying to protect their interests. And I don't really think that Bitcoin needs, really specific special regulation. And in fact, I think that the Bitcoin community is doing a really good job of regulating itself. That being said, I think it'll be very interesting to see how they decide Bitcoin fits into existing regulatory framework. I don't really think it's a great idea to work with government, but that's what these people are doing, and most likely the layers that will be built upon the open source decentralized Bitcoin software will most likely include certain kind of protections that the government wants to have, possibly to either reduce or altogether rid of the anonymity factor, because that was kind of one of the things that they really had a problem with, it seemed like. But they're talking about the Silk Road and the bad actors who would use drugs and sell drugs, but it's just a non-crime. It's a made up violation that the government has imposed on people. Not being able to buy and sell certain plants or pills or whatever. So I think that's very interesting. But all these government people, they're really just protecting their interests, is what it comes down to. You know what I mean? If you're the head of the spokesman for the Secret Service or something like that, which they had a guy on there, then your interests are going to be in protection and in service to that industry, to that aspect of government, because that's their livelihood, and that's the perspective that they're coming from. But I really think it's interesting. You have wild price swings. It went up to $900 and then crashed back down to $500, and now it's about $620 at the moment. I have the tickers going on my computer, so yeah, very interesting. I was thinking the Twitter IPO, they thought that their company was valued at $18 billion, and that's what their opening price for their IPO was. And at the same time, the total, I guess you would call it a market cap. It's not really a market cap, though, since Bitcoin isn't really a stock. It's really just a highly divisible currency. But Bitcoin, if you took the total amount of Bitcoins in circulation and multiplied that by the current price of Bitcoin, the price when Twitter had its IPO was, I think, about $3 billion. So nothing against Twitter, but Twitter's just a website that people use to communicate, and it's not exactly special in terms of the technology that it uses. You know what I mean? Facebook does similar things, Google Plus does similar things, but I think that a payment system, a global decentralized ledger for transmitting wealth cheaply, quickly, and without any middleman, without any hassle, without going through any bank, and I think this is incredibly valuable, and I think it's worth way more than the market cap of Twitter, or way more than the market cap of Facebook. And I think that nobody really knows that yet. The market doesn't know that yet. It will, but right now nobody really knows what a Bitcoin is worth. You know, it could be worth $1. You know, it could be worth $10,000. You know, nobody knows. And it's not something that I can ever predict. You know, if I could, I would never have to work another day in my life. It's not something that that anybody can really predict, but due to its nature. But I do think that whatever that the free market decides that the price of Bitcoin is going to be, I do think it'll be much higher than what it is now. To put it in perspective, you know, everybody in the world, if you were to divide up all the gold in the world, everybody would be able to own about 0.75 ounces, you know, 3/4 of 1 ounce of gold. If you were to divide up all the Bitcoin in the world, everybody would be able to hold only less than 0.001 Bitcoin. So that's just to kind of put that in perspective, which is very interesting, I think. So I'm really excited to see what the future of Bitcoin holds, and I'm kind of wondering if this new Senate regulation is kind of the end of the Wild West in Bitcoin. You know, it's just like this is kind of embarrassing to me, but I had a wallet with some Litecoin on it. It's basically the Litecoin that I've been mining for the last 6 months, and I lost my password, or I forgot my password for it. And it's kind of like akin to, you know, being out in the Wild West and forgetting where you buried your silver in the desert, you know. And you have exchanges that, you know, anybody has started up. I mean, I mean, for a lot of you people who are new to Bitcoin, there was a lot of heists from centralized Bitcoin exchanges and online Bitcoin wallets that happened, and that's getting less and less frequent now, which I think is great. So that's one of the ways in which the Bitcoin economy is regulating itself, because the Bitcoin users are demanding from these organizations better security, better wallet security, and a lot of these exchanges now are doing cold storage of Bitcoin and things like that in order to minimize their risk, which I think is great. So yeah, Bitcoin is doing a great job of regulating itself. It really doesn't need the government, and I think that the more government becomes involved, it can only hurt it. However, if it does get them off our back and allow us to develop the layers upon this open source software, then I think that's a wonderful thing, and I look forward to that. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Talk to you later.